Hey YouTube, this is Nashtaters. Welcome back to another episode of War of the Visions. So today I'm going to be doing part 2 of a deep dive into vision cards. And let's get started. Okay, so today's video is going to be doing only the SR vision cards. And there are actually only 10 of them currently. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, as always, I'm going to do the top 3 cards that I feel like are worthy of building. Then I'm just going to kind of talk in general about these cards. First card I really recommend from the SR group is going to be Instantaneous 1000 Needles Cactuar. Now, he has the bestow effects of agility up 4% at base, defensive down, -5, and critical rate up 4 for a party ability. People have been asking me, how many shards does it take to build all the different rarities of vision cards? Well, a good way to look at it is if you haven't built a card, simply look at it to see if you have enough health to fully awaken it. In this case, it's going to be 165 for Cactuar. For Cactuar, the actual max is 12% agility boost, but the defensive down remains at 5. The party ability of critical rate up will be 9 total. I always felt that agility is one of the most powerful stat in this entire game. So a 12% boost in agility is a great amount for pretty much any unit. Now the Little Leela card is called Great Detective Little Leela. Not only is it a cute card, it's actually really good. Now it increases accuracy by 8, defensive down by 5, and magic up 7% for party ability. For those of you who haven't watched my first video in the part 1 of this mini-series, I talked about what the terminology were for all the different words. When you see capital letters MAG, it means it adds to the base magical attack power of the unit that you're equipping this with. But in this case, since it's a party ability, it will apply to all of your members. Now, the total max bestowed effect for accuracy is actually 25 total, which is really good. And a magic ability total added for party is 15%. The next card I want to talk about is called Fun Times. For individual bestowed effects, it adds critical hit rate up, and party ability and adds attack up. Attack with all capital letters means going to act to the base attack power for all of your units in your party. The final critical rate up total once maxed will be 20, and the final attack up percentage for your party is going to be 15%. As you can see, this one can be fully maxed. The remaining of the SR card group are mostly going to be very specific in terms of what you're looking for. For example, in the tower on my main account, I actually had some trouble the first go around. So I decided to fully power up this card to give petrify resistance because of those giant flying one-eyed monsters where they like to petrify your team. I decided to fully max this card and give the card to my unit that was capable of restoring back to normal my other units. So I felt like it was a needed card for me at the time. And turns out I didn't get petrified at all. I cleared the stage with no issues once I equipped this card. Could have been a coincidence, of course, or it could have been the fact that it was actually quite useful. Other cards you might think about would be things like slow resistance, and maybe you want to target something like fire attack resistance. In this case, this card actually be very handy when you are facing perhaps in the future the Ifrit raid. And if that's the case, I think this is going to be a great card to actually use because this will give you fire attack resistance for your entire party. Another card that you might want to consider for future purposes would be this card. It gives you Avian Killer, which essentially means bird killer. Right now we're dealing with Ochu, so in the future we may get cockatrice as potential challenge. So therefore this card could actually be decent for an individual purposes. And I always feel like when a card gives you some sort of bonus attack, and on top of it gives your rest of the party members attack, that's usually a pretty good synergistic card. However, that being said, this card is definitely one of those cards that it's kind of a need basis for specific situations. One of the problems with this game is the fact that we don't have too much access to getting vision card shards. So far, the only way you can get them is from the shop. And even then, because of the fact that there's just so many cards out there, it really kind of a random chance to get the actual card you want, and then you have to spend gems. My big suggestion is go to your limited normal summon. And the reason being is this, by spending 1 million gold, you have chances to get good amount of shards for your vision cards. On top of it, you can get awakening materials. I've actually gotten rainbow spheres out of this as well, and of course you can get shards for units that you perhaps are looking for. I always suggest farm hard and farm fast on Saturdays and Sundays for the gold dungeon because it's unlimited, and essentially you're actually just farming for shards and awakening materials, which are all must needs for this game. So as always, make sure you do that on Saturdays and Sundays and dedicate the other days of the week to try to farm the events. I think in the long run it's really going to help your account get that much stronger. I actually did a video before where I summoned I believe 30 times and I got roughly 2.5% of getting UR shards, and you can simply actually look that up in the drop rates, and it did actually quite match because that was I believe the rate it gave in the drop rates. I think that's all the time I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed this mini-series. I know I am by making them. And I think in the future we're going to be doing MR cards and we're going to be doing UR cards. And we're going to go over how many shards you need for all of them. And then we're going to talk about, are they truly worth building? I feel like overall vision cards are going to be must builds for future. And as you can see, in order to be successful in some of these challenges, it's actually better off to start looking at some of the cards that can actually help you for that situation. After all, getting a rainbow fragment of thoughts is usually a priority in this game. I want to thank you for watching, and remember, time is your most valuable resource, so make sure you use it wisely. And as always, take care of yourself and all your loved ones. Nashtaters and his family out. Peace.